All right, Rachel, thank you for being a guest host today on this very special guest co-host, I would say, on this very special Six Unseemly Questions. Are you excited about being the guest co-host?
I am always excited when I get to be the guest co-host. I know it's not your favorite thing, but
Nope,
I know
not
it's
at all.
but I do know that it's our audience's favorite thing.
What? I think we've heard different. I'm just saying. Let's just get started with the show, everybody. Welcome to Six Unseemly Questions. I'm your host, Victor Varnado. This is my sidekick, Rachel Teichman. We've got a great contestant on the show today. Everybody put your hands together for Jeff Kaufman. All right, come on up.
Did you want to ask me a question? Because you skipped that.
What are you talking about? I just asked you a question. I asked if you were excited to be the co-host.
Oh, that was my question? Okay.
What the hell? This is why I don't like you as a co-host. All right, we've got a great contestant on the show today. Everybody, please leave that part in the show, by the way. Do not edit that out.
Oh, I was planning to.
Everybody, we've got a great contestant on the show today. Please put your hands together for Jeff Kaufman. All right.
Yeah, thank you, guys. This feels like a divorce mediation, but we'll keep going. Jesus.
Listen, we've been doing this show for a couple of years, and we are ready for each other's nonsense, I would say.
All the time.
All right. Well, welcome to the show. Glad to have you.
It's good to be Good to be here. You know, it's fun to be on a new show. I never know what's going to happen. You know,
well, I'm going to tell you. I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen, and then we'll get started. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you 6 unseemly questions. At the end of each question, I'll ring a bell if I like your answer, like this. However, if I do not like your answer, I'll not ring a bell, and I'll tell you why. Regardless of how many bells you get at the end of the show, I'll decide whether or not it's worth giving you $5 whole.
I love being subjectively wrong. That's great. You know?
There's plenty of that in this show.
Yeah, here you go. Yeah.
All right. First of all, Rachel, whose side are you on?
I wasn't picking sides. I was just telling the objective truth about the subjective matter.
Oh, wow. Okay. Way to talk over my head. All right. Let's get started with question number 1. Question number 1. What's the last thing you baked?
Well, I was actually in Vegas, and I was actually baked. Now that I remember, you know, it's legal in Las Vegas.
Great pun.
Yes. Well, serious. I was going to the Aerosmith concert. My buddy was like, "Hey, you know, it's legal." I'm going, "Oh, good." So yeah,
you were at the Aerosmith concert?
Yeah, my buddy Cosmo does lighting for them.
A good friend of mine used to be a co-manager of Aerosmith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. They pack it up. They're doing residency in Las Vegas. So I was having a good time. My buddy does lighting for them. So I was in the lighting booth watching all this happen with my buddy Jamie. And Jamie goes, "Hey, I need to take a break." And his break included some quality marijuana.
All right.
And so I did get a little baked there. The last thing I baked, believe it or not, I tried to go old school pot pie. And I failed so miserably because, you know, they tell you a certain time, but I think that's subjective too. So I put it in there and it came out as a brick, and I tried to eat it and it didn't work my way. And what I ate came out very fast. So yeah, that was a terrible experience. The Vegas experience was a lot better than the actual bacon experience.
So the pot pie, you were putting it in the oven?
Yeah. And they say put it in for 18 minutes or whatever it was. So I put it in for 18, you know, no preheating. So it wasn't like I overly preheated. And I tried to eat a stone and it just failed miserably.
What kind of pot pie was it?
It was ones you get from the cold ones, you know, like the old cheap ones. I'm not talking the high-end Boston market ones. I'm talking one of the old school, pop it in the oven. You'll be happy with the square meat. You know, I forget that I'm not like 8 anymore. So I think I can eat anything.
Well, I'm going to say on this question, no bell. And I'll tell you why. Because your first answer was a pun, and then your second answer was a tragedy.
I don't know if the first one was a pun. I mean, that actually happened. I mean, we that's what we call getting baked. I mean,
which is a pun on the word bake, which I said the word bake meaning the other bake, and you knew which other bake I meant.
But I really appreciated the first one more. So okay, but we'll go on.
I understand. I understand that weed is probably a lot better than a terrible pot pie.
Can I negotiate since I get 5 questions and I get
you have 5 more. You did the first one now,
which means that I'm 80%. I got I'm down to 80% from a 100% chance. So, okay.
Well, I did say regardless of how many bells you get, I'll decide.
Okay. I didn't know if I could negotiate for $4 right now, but okay. All right.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay.
We'll see what happens. Oh, now that we asked the first question, it's time for question number 2. But before we do that, we'd like you to tell our audience out there what you do.
I'm actually a comic book writer.
Nice.
I write comic books for a lot of independent companies. I also do stand-up, professional stand-up comedian, and I actually practice law in 18 states, which makes me the Guinness Book World Record holder for that. So pretty cool.
Oh,
Why
wow.
aren't there more people like doing that in more states?
Because they don't want to take the tests.
Oh, you have to pass the bar for every state.
You can comp into a certain amount, but a lot you have to take tests for. So I took about 8, 9 bar exams, which takes you about 6 months to study. A lot of nonsense.
Wow. I mean, I feel like there could be some standardization added in that particular part of the industry.
It could, but remember, every state is different. For example, convicted felons can't vote in Virginia, but they can vote in a lot of other states. So they do have laws that are different. For example, you can't sleep with a girl who's 12 in Georgia, but if you marry him, it's okay. So
what?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just telling you, this is the laws change based on our politics.
I don't know what I'm talking about. My grandmother got married when she was 13. So
yeah,
there you go.
Elvis, come on.
It's now time for question number 2. Question number 2. Are you good with emojis?
I am unbelievably terrible with emojis.
Oh, really?
Because I'm actually opposed to it, because I think it has taken away our ability to write answers. Okay. And the problem with an emoji is it's not always clear what it means. You're like going, based on the eyebrow and the emoji or something else like that, you could absolutely think something else. So, for example, smiley face or something else, you're going, did you like everything in the answer, or did you like just part of it? I think it's an answer for somebody who doesn't really want to write out the answer.
What about emoticons?
Which ones? Give me an example.
Well, like in the pre-emoji days when you would like type a colon and a parentheses to make a smiley face, like an old school emoticon.
Oh, you're ridiculously genius to do that. I think you have to have a certain capability. I mean, the emoticons, when I remember that going, okay, if you put these 4 things together, it makes a smile.
Yeah.
I was amazed at the technical genius behind that. And I just was never smart enough to be able to get that one down. So I will respect that, because you carried a certain amount of technical skill. So.
And the one last question about emojis. How are you at interpreting them?
If it's a single one, it's okay. But if it's multiple ones in a row, it feels like a code.
Yes.
It feels like they're trying to, what are those machines that used to be able to decipher stuff in World War II? The Enigma code. The Enigma code. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. No way. No way. I'm horrible.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to give you a bell. I'll tell you why. Just because you're just honest and nice. And so I liked it.
I liked that you called me a technical genius when I was 5 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. I've always see, Rachel has skills. I didn't have them.
Rachel is deceptive.
Yes. Wait, hold on a second. Deceptively brilliant, or just deceptive as a human being?
Just deceptive.
Okay. All right.
I mean, you think she's one thing, and then you find out later on she's something else.
Cute. I just saw the post. Okay.
Yep.
All right. It is now time for question number 3. Question number 3. What's the biggest favor you've ever done for a stranger?
For a stranger?
Yes.
I have represented people in court for long periods of time, for like 5, 6, 7 days. I've done major trials for people I don't know, and that is the truly biggest pain, because it's heartbreaking. It's everything else. But the most recent thing I did is somebody just private messaged me and said, Jeff, the hurricane's going on. I know you don't know me, but I'm hungry and I need money for food for the next 3 days. And I was in San Diego doing a conference on the internet. And I said, you know what? And I said, I don't know you, dude. And I walked into the meeting. I felt bad. I walked out and I PayPal'd them $100. And even though I knew I could be absolutely scammed.
Right.
I felt so bad for another person that even if I was being scammed, I couldn't live with the idea that somebody went hungry because I couldn't have sent $100. So yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. There's things that like I have rules for myself in general, but like it, for instance, like I usually don't give out money to people on the street just because I don't know like what that's going to be. But if ever there's like time and they're like want food, then I'll usually go buy people food. Like I'll go give them food and like hand them a burger or whatever if I have time. And so it just like, but yeah, it's just like you don't know the extent of what you're doing, like how it helps people or if it will or whatever. But just sometimes it just feels good to just like do something, anything.
It's for me, it's a Jiminy Cricket issue.
Uh-huh.
I suddenly get that guilt. I have that, he's on my shoulder and he goes, Jeff, do it. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong.
Right.
So that's what happens to me. So
No, I get that. Yeah. That's great. That's a good story. All right. Here you go. Another bell.
look at me.
Yeah. Two
Look at
bells.
you.
Look at me. One more and I'm in business. I don't know. Okay. All right.
All right. It is time for question number 4. Question number 4. Are you a good lawyer?
God, I wish I could say that there isn't a straight answer. The straight answer is, as a performing lawyer, I'm ridiculous. But I think that because I feel guilty about not being able to get a great result for somebody,
Uh-huh.
I think that's what makes me a better lawyer. So I think the guilt I carry on the possibility that I would let somebody down makes me a better lawyer than just because I have a ridiculous skill set in that I've been practicing for 26 years and I'm licensed in so many states. So I think having a lawyer who actually feels guilty if things go wrong for you is more important than their actual skill set. So yeah, I think on both scenarios I am a good lawyer.
You know what? That is really interesting. I never thought about that part of being a lawyer. That's just like, how you don't want to disappoint people.
It's horrific. I mean, I've had trials. I did a very famous trial. It was called the Tigger trial, where I put the Tigger costume on and it was in the closing. And
What?
yeah. If you type in, be very careful with this word, people. Tigger, Tigger, and Kaufman. You'll see a picture of me actually talking to a jury wearing the official Walt Disney World Tigger costume.
This is happening. Okay,
Yeah, I'm
please
here for
keep
it.
going.
But in what happened was if I would have lost, he was looking at a minimum of 15 years. And I was sick every day of that trial. Every night I didn't sleep. And finally, when it was over, I looked over at my client, Michael, and I said, Michael, that's all I got, man. I I can't tell you whether we won or lost, but no other person could have gave you what I just gave you. And that's the hard part about it for me. It's not about the money if it's a civil case, but in criminal cases, it was about the freedom.
Mhm.
And losing somebody's freedom at the fear that you didn't do everything possible was a very tough thing for me to deal with. But I was fortunate that I was very good at my job.
That's amazing and insightful. I like it.
God, I should have went with baked. Um,
This is great. I love this episode so far. This is awesome. All right, but now it is time for question number 5. Question number 5. Here it is. Did you build forts as a kid?
oh yeah, but
Yeah?
but I used blankets. They were definitely not good for hurricanes. I was a blanket building force because you were able to you got covered more distance than just like a cardboard box. So I would take every blanket in the house, and basically this was a palace.
Uh-huh.
Because I would say conservatively, maybe a 20 by 20. So there was a lot going on.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, but that could only be done with basically brooms and tying the corners of the blankets together.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because you had to the tent poles. The brooms acted like tent poles, so
Uh-huh.
you'd have to get each corner, and the middle you'd have to support with multiple brooms or mops.
Why did your family have so many brooms and mops?
I think we had like 4. I think 4 to 6. We were Jews, so we never threw anything out. Maybe that's.
I mean, same with my family,
Yeah.
but like we have multiple yardsticks, but as far as I know, we have one broom.
I never thought of that. I never thought of the concept. I think that was. I know there was a closet with brooms and mops in it and rakes. So I
Oh,
I don't think I
in there
used a
too.
rake though. A rake would not have worked. So I don't think we used a rake because that
Hmm.
would just fall down even with the pressure from the top, and the rakes bend at the bottom. So I'm not like I was a great engineer, but you know, other than my sister knocking it down because she was little than me, she was 2 years younger. She took out every fort I had, and it wasn't because I didn't include her. It was just because she just wasn't very coordinated.
All right.
Sorry, I didn't know if that was.
No, no,
I
no,
I
no. That
insulted
was
my sister, whether I lost the answer.
no, not at all. The reason that I'm gonna give you no bell on this one is because I'm a cardboard fort sort of guy.
There you go.
I'm not a blanket fort guy. I like my architecture to have detail, and so
How
uh,
big were the boxes that you? I mean, how many boxes could you have actually had in the house? Was that like a Christmas fort?
well, the my forts would be usually made from boxes that we would get from deliveries or boxes that I could find in the basement or wherever. Like I would just find boxes and I would bring them back. Yeah, I grew up in the 80s. There was a lot of breakdancing, so people loved cardboards. It was all over the place.
There you
Just
go.
crazy all over the place.
Yeah.
For
You know.
forts, I would use chairs and blankets.
Whoa.
But if I was going to use cardboard boxes, it was to make a fort for my cats.
Rachel, who asked you?
Me. I asked me.
Man, so, I need to just go. So, how does that make you feel, Rachel? Sorry.
No, that's my job. I ask you that. I'm
Okay,
the
all
therapist in the room.
Okay.
Oh, here we go again. I'm a therapist. It's all. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
It
the way
is
love
time.
goes.
It is time for question number 6. Question number 6. What level of fame are you trying to achieve?
It's real simple. I think fame, people do it for 2 reasons. One, because their own internal compass demands feedback from people. And then
Okay.
other people know that fame will allow you to do more things that you love.
Mhm.
And ego fame doesn't work for me because I know God's going to kick me in the face.
Mhm.
The fame that allows me to be able to write Spider-Man or to write or to do a show that I love, or to be able to, let's say, for example, go to Aerosmith and sit in the sound booth, that allows me to experience more life I like. So I think fame to allow you more doors to better experiences is what I'm shooting for, rather than I feel important about myself.
Can you
That
quantify that?
Yeah, you normally quantify it by the stuff you get to do. For example, when you go to Comic-Con and you get to hang out with somebody that you've always been dying to ask questions to, a celebrity that you followed for years, and you have some stuff. And I'm not talking about how cool your show was, but I mean, to be able to hear something really, like, I'm good friends with a lot of people who have succeeded, and to be able to talk to them about important levels of the world that I would never have access to before. Uh, I get knowledge and experience, and that's how I quantify it.
I absolutely understood what you meant, and I think that is awesome. I'm giving you a bell.
Ah,
Awesome. No, it's
4 out of
great.
6. Okay,
That
I hit.
I agree with you that I agree with you, especially that just giving yourself a chance to like live more life. That's I think what it's it's all about is just like you want to live life and have fun.
Yeah, I don't want free stuff. It's not about people treating you differently or getting free stuff. I mean, for me, it's so cool to be able to experience something, and I go, wow, this was like I was just on stage at Cirque du Soleil in Vegas, and somehow this buddy of mine got me these seats where I was sitting, and I'm watching this performer right here, and the appreciation I had for it was just unbelievable. And sometimes you get lucky that way.
Amazing. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for being on the show. Now you've answered all 6 questions. It is time to decide whether or not you get $5 for your appearance on the show. But before we do that, will you tell people out there where to find you?
Well, there are a couple different things. If you want to see my comic books, you go to Big City Comics.
Nice.
If you want to go to the law firm, it's whenyouneedus.com. If you want to go see my podcast, which is also a YouTube show, it's on Under Oath with Jeff Kaufman. But if you just want a general stuff of being able to how to get to all my stuff, just go to therealjeffkaufman.com and you'll get access to all of it.
Awesome. Go check out his stuff. Also check out Under Oath. I'm on an episode, so everybody make sure you swing by. All right, Jeff. It's time to decide whether or not you get $5. As always, we canvass the room. First, we'll start with Rachel. Rachel, what do you think? Should Jeff get $5 for his appearance on the show?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say yes, because he came here, he gave it his best shot, and that's really all we could have asked from him.
All right. That seems oddly positive for you, Rachel.
I know.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeff, what do you think? Should you get $5 for your appearance on the show?
No.
Any reason why?
Yeah, I think it should go to somebody who needs it. And I think I would like it to be donated to the most needy listener you have.
Oh, well, it seems like Jeff has never seen the show, as you know that if you try to make us donate it to charity of any kind, you automatically don't get the $5. But you already said no anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
There you go.
All right. Go ahead.
I just appreciate being here. I think it's been when you have to answer questions like that, the fear is you're always going to say something that puts you in a stupid position or everything else like that. But your questions were pretty straight on, man. I appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you. This is a great episode, and we enjoyed having you here. I just have to wrap up the show. So, Rachel, what did you learn on this week's episode?
Well, I learned that if you type a colon and a parentheses, it makes you a technical genius.
Fair enough. Everybody, check us out at Unseemly on all social media and unseemlyquestions.com.
Starbane's Audio, a podcast network.